Charcoal is going to play the big role in our life in the near future because soon when we have not enough fossil fuel or no gas, we need charcoal for cooking, and charcoal is renewable energy. If we have the fast grow trees, maybe 10 of them, they can grow back every year. So we have enough charcoal for the family all year round. Good quality charcoal give very high energy, and there's no smoke, it's very clean. We also use charcoal for filter the water also. This kind of charcoal is very good quality to filter the water, to make the water clean from chemical completely. This is the way to make charcoal with no smoke. You can make charcoal in the city or in the village. Nobody know we are making charcoal. How to make the kilns? To make the charcoal in this way, we need 200 liters oil drum. The first oil drum, we need to open one side. This side, when we open, we need to leave the edge about 1 or 2 inches. This edge gonna be the shoulder for the lid, so we can put the lid on top of this part of the drum. After we draw the line where we want to cut, we can use old knife or axe to cut with the wooden hammer to hit it. This way it will be easy to cut and safer than use grinder, because the grinder take longer time and then it's harder to cut too. When we cut all the way around, and then we can take the lid off. After that, we need to hit the edge of the oil drum to make it straight, and then it's better to use grinder to erase wherever it's sharp, so it will not cut our hand. After that, we need to turn upside down that drum and then start to make holes as much as we can. The hole need to be very close together and then very big hole. This hole is very important because if we make enough hole, when we make the charcoal, will have no smoke. But if we don't have enough hole, it will be a lot of smoke. There are many ways to make holes at the bottom of the drum. Sometimes we use concrete chisel, sometimes we use axe to make a hole, sometimes we use pricks to make a hole. Whatever easy is fine. The main thing is we need as many holes as we can and as big as we can too. So hole is very important. This is the size of the hole that we need. Actually, we need even more than this if we can. This is the finish of the first drum. We have many holes in the bottom, and then we have edge like this on top. On the side, two sides, we can make handles like this. It's easier to hold it. Or if we don't have welder, we can use wire to tie like a hook so we can hold it easily. The second oil drum, we open the top part of it too. But this one, we cut very close to the edge because we want to use this part to make the lid for the first drum. This is the top part of the second drum. We cut it off and then we will use it to make the lid for the first drum. So we need to make it very straight. When we cut it, it's bent a lot at the edge. Now we make it straight. Then we need to use the grinder to cut the sharp part of the edge so it will not cut our hand when we work. We need to make sure that the lid will fit the first oil drum completely, like this. After that, we turn the second oil drum upside down, so we make a hole on top of the second oil drum. This part gonna be the chimney where the smoke come out, where the gas come out. We open this area at least 5 inches diameter. The hole will look like this. After we finish preparation 2 oil drums and 1 lid, the next step we need to start to burn it. We need 3 bricks to support the bottom. We want air to go under the oil drum as much as we can, so this brick have to be high a little. The wood that we need to make charcoal need to be similar size and very dry. Wet wood is not very good for this technique. And then we can cut if the wood very straight, we can cut the same height with the oil drum and we can stack them like this. If the wood is not straight, it's better to cut them short and small so we can stack them more. If we can add more wood in there, we can get more charcoal. When we fill up the whole tank, we just use something small like a grass, straw, or small stick on top, and we can start the fire on top. We need 2 pieces of 2 by 4 metal to put on the edge of the oil drum, and then we can start the fire. We always start the fire from the top. Then we can put the chimney or the second oil drum on top of the metal, and then the smoke will disappear immediately. The first time when we use oil drum maybe cause some smoke because of it burned the paint outside of the drum. When we start a fire, we need to keep watching on the color of the oil drum. Normally it will take 1 to 2 hours. It's going to burn to the bottom of the oil drum. And then if the color change to the bottom of the oil drum, that means it burned to the bottom of the oil drum already. We need to wait for 5 or 10 minutes before we close it. After we start the fire like this, we can set the time 1 hour. We'll come back. So you can go do anything else. About 1 hour, and come back to check if the color changed to the bottom or not. If it changed to the bottom, we need to close the kiln after that. When the fire burns like this, the temperature will be very high. The minimum is 800 Celsius. The maximum is more than 1000 Celsius. So it depends on the hole at the bottom of the drum. If we have more hole, the temperature will be very high. When the fire burns close to the bottom, we need to prepare the mud pit nearby the kiln, mixing the soil with water to make it very muddy clay. So this is where we're gonna put the drum in here to prevent the oxygen, to not let oxygen go inside. Then we need a stick to push the top drum down, and then we can move the drum to the pit. This step, we need to push the top part of the drum. We want the top part of the drum to hit the ground because the top part is stronger than the bottom. And then the temperature is very high. It's so hot, so it's good to use the long stick so it will be not burn us too much. When you put the drum in the mud, just put the lid on top and close it with mud completely. Don't let the air get in there. So we can see if the smoke come out, that means the air can get in there. We need to close immediately, even including the bottom and the top. This kiln, after we put the drum down, we put the lid on top first before we move to the mud pit. This technique is decrease the heat better it's easier for us to work with. And then to have the metal handle well to the side of the drum like this is very easy too. And then we need to make sure that the mud is not too dry. It needs to be a little bit wet so it will close easier. After we close it, we need to leave it for at least 3 hours. After that, we will get charcoal. The charcoal will be ready to use after that. So the time that we burn, not more than 2 hours. And the time after we close, we wet to make it cool down, it takes about 3 hours. Total time of burning, the total process is about 5 hours. So in 5 hours, we get enough charcoal for cooking at least 1 week for one family. So it's worth it to do this. After 3 hours, we are going to open to see the charcoal from inside. So it's good to clean the clay out very well because we don't want to have sand or clay mixed with the charcoal, especially when we need the charcoal to filter the water. So the charcoal need to be clean. This is the best charcoal because it's very light, and then there are many tiny holes in the charcoal. It's like a sponge. It's very good for filter the water and then good for cooking. There's no smoke at all.